What if I told you that something so small, so ordinary, so overlooked, carries secrets that shape the world? What if I told you that the white grains sitting quietly in your kitchen were once worth more than gold, were once guarded like treasure, and were once carried like protection by prophets, kings, and women of faith? Salt, a crystal, a grain, a taste on your tongue, and yet a shield for your soul. Civilizations rose for it. Armies marched because of it. Kings killed to control it. And prophets spoke of it. This is not about food. This is not about taste. This is about something far deeper. Something hidden. Something carried silently. From one generation to the next. In the past, salt was never ordinary. It was sacred. It was medicine. It was power. It was life. The Egyptians used it to preserve their dead. They believed salt guarded the soul from corruption, kept it pure for the afterlife, and sealed it against darkness. The Africans traded salt across the Sahara. Block by block, caravan by caravan, salt moved like rivers of wealth. It was heavier than gold. It was more valuable than silver. It was the currency of survival. The Romans paid their soldiers with it. From salt came the word salary. Think about that. Your income, your monthly wage, still carries the memory of salt. Armies collapsed without it. Crops rotted without it. Bodies weakened without it. Salt was the thin line between strength and collapse. And yet, this is only half the story. Because salt was not only about survival. It was about spirit. It was about protection. It was about the unseen. And so, the Prophet Muhammad spoke of salt. Just begin your meals with salt. End your meals with salt. For it cures 70 diseases. 70. Not 1. Not 2. 70. Some are diseases of the body. But others? Diseases of the heart. Diseases of the spirit. Diseases that doctors cannot name, but the soul feels every day. Salt balances. Salt heals. Salt grounds. Salt protects. This is why Muslim women held on to this secret. When a child cried endlessly, they circled salt around its head. The crying stopped. The heaviness lifted. The unseen fled. When a home felt heavy, when arguments spread like poison, when silence grew too sharp, they dissolved salt in water and washed the floors. The air changed. The walls breathed. The home softened. When envy struck, when whispers of black magic crawled in, they carried salt in their palms. They placed it by the doorway. They whispered prayers over it. Salt became shield. Salt became barrier. This was not superstition. This was wisdom. Wisdom not found in books. Wisdom not written in scrolls, but lived, experienced, protected by women, generation after generation. Salt was their soldier, their silent guard, their invisible wall. And yet today, we forget. We sweep it carelessly from tables. We spill it without thought. We mock those who remember. But ask yourself, why was it feared? Why was it respected? Why did prophets, kings, and women of faith all guard it like treasure? Because salt does what nothing else can. It preserves. It absorbs. It purifies. It seals. When black magic is done, salt breaks it. When the evil eye strikes, salt absorbs it. When the jinn draw near, salt forms a wall they cannot cross. This is why it was placed at thresholds. This is why it was circled around cradles. This is why it was carried in pockets. Because it was never just a grain. It was always a guard. Think of your ancestors. Think of the women who came before you. They did not have modern medicine. They did not have psychiatrists. They did not have security systems. What they had was salt. And with it, they healed, they protected, they survived. But the mystery goes deeper. Salt is not only about homes. It is about souls. It is about destinies. It is about the balance of creation itself. In the Qur'an, Allah speaks of the seas. 2 bodies of water, one sweet, one salty. They meet, yet they do not mix. Between them is a barrier that none can cross. Think about that. Sweet and salty. 2 forces, Two opposites, two worlds. And yet, salt is chosen as the divider. Salt is the guardian. Salt is the balance. This is not coincidence. This is message. This is design. Salt is not just in your kitchen. It is in your blood. It is in your tears. It is in your sweat. Every drop of you carries salt. Without it, you collapse. Without it, you weaken. Without it, you die. Your very existence is tied to salt. And yet, you call it ordinary. It is not ordinary. It is extraordinary. It is sacred. It is hidden power. This is why the Prophet taught us to begin with salt, to end with salt. Because salt is cycle. Salt is completion. Salt is protection at the start, protection at the end. And this is why Muslim women carried it secret. They whispered it to daughters. They passed it to granddaughters. They never let it die. Because without salt, we are unguarded. Without salt, we are exposed. Without salt, we are left open to what the eyes cannot see. And now, in your time, you must decide. Do you treat it as dust? Or do you remember it as shield? Do you ignore its secret? Or do you carry its wisdom? Because salt has not forgotten you. It still waits. It still guards. It still carries the hidden message. Salt, the grain of earth, the tear of oceans, the whisper of prophets, the secret of women. We ended part 1 with the hidden shield of salt. But the story does not end there. Because salt carries layers. Layers of history. Layers of faith. Layers of meaning. Sufi masters spoke of it. Everything in this world is symbol. Everything in this world carries message. And salt? Salt is patience. Salt is discipline. Salt is purity. Have you ever tasted food without salt? It is dull. It is flat. It is lifeless. Salt brings balance. Salt awakens taste. Salt completes. So too with the soul. Without salt, your life is tasteless. Your heart is dull. Your faith is incomplete. Salt in its hidden way teaches us balance. The Qur'an says, and it is He who merges the two seas, one sweet, one salty, between them, a barrier none may cross. Why this image? Why this teaching? Because salt is more than element. It is lesson. Sweetness without salt spoils. Salt without sweetness burns. But together, balance. Together, harmony. Together, life. Muslim women knew this. That is why they used salt. Not just for food, but for life. When their hearts felt heavy, they touched salt to their tongue. When their homes felt poisoned, they sprinkled salt at doors. When whispers of envy grew loud, they washed with salted water. They were not foolish. They were wise. They saw what men ignored. They felt what others denied. And they guarded their homes. With salt as their soldier. Black magic feared it. The jinn avoided it. The evil eye broke before it. Because salt is absorber. Salt is purifier. Salt is shield. Even today, Ruqya healers use salt. They mix it in water. They recite Qur'an over it. They drink it. They bathe with it. They cleanse homes with it. Ask them why. And they will tell you. Because salt listens. Salt absorbs. Salt carries the word of Allah into every corner it touches. Science too now admits, salt is power. Your blood carries it. Your nerves fire with it. Your tears are made of it. Your sweat pours with it. Without salt, the body dies. Do you see the secret? Salt is not outside you. Salt is inside you. It is in your veins. It is in your prayers. It is in your very being. That is why it protects. That is why it heals. That is why it grounds. But the message goes deeper. Salt is reminder. Salt is test. Salt is trust. When Allah created the world, He placed balance in everything. Night and day. Light and shadow. Sweet and salty. Seen and unseen. And salt, the bridge between both. That is why the Prophet began and ended with salt. Because everything in life begins and ends with balance. Salt whispers, do not be extreme. Do not be blind. Do not be arrogant. Remember balance. Remember purity. Remember protection. For Muslim women, this message was survival. They were not only feeding families. They were protecting them. Against hunger. Against envy. Against corruption. Against the unseen. With salt, they shielded cradles. With salt, they washed away heaviness. With salt, they carried the wisdom of generations. This is the hidden message of salt. It is not about taste. It is about trust. It is not about food. It is about faith. It is not about the body. It is about the soul. So next time you see salt, do not laugh. Do not ignore it. Do not sweep it as dust. Remember, reflect. You are holding a secret, as old as prophets, as guarded as treasure, as silent as protection. This is the truth. Salt has never forgotten you. It still waits. It still guards. It still heals. It still carries the hidden message. And now, you know it too.